Hi. So I'd like to take you through the interactions between whatever is talking to the LLM. So it'll either be a chat server or an agent, and the LLM. And LLMs are like goldfish in that their memory is terrible. They don't remember anything. So you prompt them, they respond, and then the LLM forgets you. So here we have a typical interaction between a chat server, so this could be ChatGPT, and the LLM. So this is the model that it's going to use. So typically the user inputs a prompt, and that's actually inputted into the chat part. So this is a separate, maybe separate computer, separate container, running perhaps on a very different system to the LLM. So the chat takes the prompt, may add some data into the prompt, but then sends both of them in the context window. So here we have the context window, and that is sent to the LLM, and then the LLM responds, and the chat remembers the response along with the prompt, and then this is the final state where the LLM has forgotten all about the interaction. So just like the goldfish, it forgets it knows you. However, the chat server doesn't forget you. It has memory, and now when you make another prompt, so prompt 2 comes in, it combines all of those prompts and responses into the context window. So the LLM now knows about the whole conversation. And then the final response is passed back from the LLM to the chat. And now the whole conversation can be either extended by another prompt or that the interaction is finished. Okay, so that's the ChatGPT. So the thing to remember is that the LLM does not remember anything. You have to have something, another system in front of the LLM to handle memory or handle the context window. Now, we talked a bit about in-context learning, and this is the idea that if the user has a query, perhaps there is data that we can put into the context window that will help the LLM answer the question. So this is the basis of what we call RAG systems, and they can be operated either by the user or by the server or even by some other third party, but the data is selected and put into the context window. So that's in-context learning. Now let's take a look at agents. So the agent is a little bit like the chat server. It's going to memorize the conversation. It's also going to have tools. Now, the way it works is that the agent can run these tools, but the LLM needs to tell the agent to do that. So when we set up an agent, we usually give it a capability of memorizing the prompts and responses, so the context memory. And we also give it tools, and then the agent tells the LLM that these tools are available, and the LLM can ask for these tools to be run. So this is a typical exchange. The agent sets up a prompt and tells the LLM about the tools it can run. The LLM has the choice now of maybe it answers the question without using the tools, or that it can ask to run a particular tool. So we need to make clear what these tools do so that the LLM can make the correct decision. So the agent runs whatever tool that the LLM requests and then passes the result back. So the tool result is now passed back to the LLM, and the final result then from the LLM is passed back to the agent. Now, a single agent, after multiple LLM calls, will have those prompts and responses stored in its memory, and it can then construct a new context window. So here we're showing that the prompt 1 and the response 1 and prompt 2 are in that context window. But the agent is in control of what is put into that window. So perhaps the LLM doesn't need to know about all the previous responses. So the agent may make that decision to modify the context window. So that's the basic agent. And again, the agent can have an external data source. So that would be a tool that we may give to the agent. And just like we talked about before, the agent can do in-context learning as well by putting the relevant data into the context window so that the LLM can answer the question. So now we're all set up and we can talk more about what agents do. So this is the simple introduction, and we'll continue with greater depth into how agents can be programmed. Okay, bye for now.